Hello YouTube, welcome back to Kind Heart Homestead. I was hoping to have an extended break, hang out with my family for Halloween, and then get back up here to our off-grid property in Virginia the day after Halloween. However, it looks like it's going to be in the 20s, like 27 degrees or something next week. So I had to come back again just to wrap up a few more things, tend to the chickens. And then I'll take the opportunity to take an extended break while it's completely freezing up here. Obviously, I can't avoid the winter, but I can selectively choose my trip dates based on the weather like I've been doing all summer, basically. I was trying to avoid the hottest days in the summer, and now I'm trying to avoid the coldest days. So as you can see here, our solar shed is behind me. I'm going to spend a full day working tomorrow, as long as it doesn't get too hot. And I have all my metal in place, so maybe I can unwrap some of that. But what I really should be doing is trying to wrap up the plumbing and electrical for the rough-in inspection. Unfortunately for you guys, I've already recorded and uploaded the bulk of that process, and now I'm just doing very small detail work in the studs, trying to get my fittings right, trying to make sure the vents are all connected and going through the wall in the proper place. Because, I'm going to have to fill up all the vent pipes again. So before I hook it up to the septic tank, I'm going to keep it separated so I can put that plug there. Just like I did last time, all the pipes that were filled with water last time are going to be filled again. But this time, everything in the walls above the slab need to be tested. So I don't know at this point what's going to be in this video for you guys to enjoy, but I hope you like it anyway. Please like this video and let me know in the comments what you want to see. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep doing these progress updates, not necessarily focusing them on any particular task. So stick around. I'll see you soon. Thanks. I purchased a gas on-demand water heater by a company called Takagi. This particular unit is field convertible from natural gas to liquid propane, which is very convenient for us because we're planning to use propane. You can see this light switch box just next to the door. That's going to power the lights that I put up on the ceiling. The box to the right is going to be a standard 120 volt outlet where this water heater can plug in. And just to the right of that is where the shower is going to be. So this is basically the shortest plumbing distance possible to allow the hot water to get straight to the shower valve. And then of course I'm going to have to create a duct to transfer the exhaust to the outside and to cycle the fresh air to the inside. Next, you can see here I'm tapping into the pre-existing PEX lines that I'd run in a previous episode. And now I need to have a hot and a cold line coming up using some elbows to get just below this tankless water heater. There will be hot and cold valves. There's a whole setup kit you can get that has all the clean out valves to cycle it once a year for maintenance purposes. Whatever that is, I'll need to figure that out. But for now, I'm just going to bring the water lines up long, so then later I can cap them off for the pressure test. Also, that little gap that I'm standing in where I used to pass through the utility room to the bathroom, that's going to be the shower wall. And I'm going to have to tee off to get up to the shower valve as well. My understanding of attics is that if you're not going to condition the space, you have to ensure that there's a flow of air coming up from your eaves, going all the way up to the ridge, and then the hottest air should be allowed to escape through some sort of ridge cap. Well, I bought these baffles. It's probably the cheapest thing you can get. They come in packs of 10, which is perfect for me because I have 20 bays that I need to make sure they're venting. I'm going to have some sort of vented soffit at the bottom, and then up at the gable areas, it's not going to be vented because that doesn't have an attic above it. So this is my technique. I just put 3 staples at the bottom, 3 staples at the top, and then hopefully when I'm putting the insulation in, none of it gets over there. I still have to figure out an idea to seal off the space. Otherwise, all the insulation I put in can overflow over the top plates and go into the vented soffit area, which will, like I said, have a metal perforated vented piece to prevent animals and stuff from getting into there. But if the insulation goes over, it's going to clog those holes and prevent the flow of air from the overhangs up to the ridge. Several episodes ago, I put this 2x4 across because I thought I would have to staple the vented soffit to this board here and that board there. But it turns out that the metal supplier that I ordered all of my metal components from sold a special type of trim. It's like some sort of F channel, where the bottom channel receives the siding and the sideways channel receives the soffit. So I don't actually need this board. As you can see, the string line there is still visible. So even when I take the board off, I'll know where to put that piece of trim. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this down now. It only took a couple quick taps with a hammer to remove these boards because I had only tacked them into the sheathing. They weren't even secured into the studs. But while I was up on the ladder looking at this area, I realized that before I start putting any of the metal trim or siding up, I need to address the possibility of the blown-in insulation overflowing the double top plate and going over onto the vented soffit. So I went into my shipping container to see what kind of surplus construction materials I had left over from previous projects, and I found that I had a small roll of house wrap and a huge tub of roofing cap nails. So I decided to cut up some strips and cover each of these gaps.
You cared, but I never thought it was fair to say to me that your heart might have been elsewhere. I've never had so much to say, though it may be hard to see. I'll never know why you felt that way. At least you said what you mean. I've never felt so you'd give and I take, but I always made the mistake of towing the line, the one you said wouldn't break. 'Cause now I'm here and you're out there. Will we ever meet again? I'd give my life for you to see. I just can't wait until then.
Here's that channel I was talking about. Notice it looks kind of like a capital F. This bottom channel, the one that's facing down, is the socket that receives the siding. This one, the much skinnier socket, receives the vented soffit.
I know you cared, but I never thought it was fair to say to me that your heart might have been elsewhere. I've never had so much to say, though it may be hard to see. I'll never know why you felt that way. At least you said what you mean. I've never felt so alone. So many things were left unknown. I'm running in circles, and when I get somewhere, will you still be there? It's becoming.
I haven't finished applying all of the zip products, which include the zip liquid flash and the zip tape. This wall is mostly done, and that's why I'm over here right now. But what I'd like to do is go ahead and start measuring and taking some notes on the sheathing, even though I'm not ready to do the actual installation yet. What I've done so far is I've measured the metal panels. I need to put a tick mark at every 9 inches, starting with the edge. And every 9 inches represents the beginning of the ribs. Starting at that end of the building, I just drew a tick mark every 9 inches going across this entire wall. And then, just to make things a bit more visually understandable, I drew a level line vertically every 4, which represents the full 3 feet width of the panel minus the 2-inch overlap. So I'm going to try to explain to you the formation of the metal right now. This represents the edge of a panel, this level line. We have 9, 9, 9, 9. That's 4 spaces, and then the edge minus the 2-inch overlap. So what you can extrapolate from this is from every tick mark moving 2 inches forward is the end of the rib. So let me go ahead and mark those real quick. So without looking at a metal panel, this is probably the best way to explain it. Beginning of the first rib, end of the first rib. Beginning of the second rib, end of the second rib. Beginning of the third, end of the third. Beginning of the fourth, end of the fourth. And then you have the overlap, which is number 1 of the next panel. So let me number these for you. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and then we restart. And the reason this is useful, even without having the metal up here, is because this is meant to be 20 feet, but 3 feet, which is the width of the panel, doesn't go into 20 evenly. 4 does, which is why I didn't really have much waste when I was putting these 4 foot by 8 foot zip sheathing panels across. But the 3 foot ones, you have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and then 21. So it's going to use most of the last panel, but the last foot or so needs to get removed. And I have the tools to rip these panels. For fancier cuts, I might need to get a better tool than hand shears. But anyway, as I draw these out, I need to take note of where these ribs are going to go, because According to all the experts who do post-frame buildings and use metal as siding every day, such as RR Buildings, I recommend checking out that channel if you have any desire to do pole barn / post-frame buildings or any sort of metal siding and trim. He knows all the multiples of 9, and when he plans his buildings, he knows how to account for the ribs. I've never done this before, so I need to actually draw these on the building, and if the beginning to the end of a rib, so anywhere in a rib, hits the edge of a window or a door, I need to try to move it. And because these side walls are not a multiple of 3, I have that last 1 foot or so of play where I could shift all of the panels up to a foot to the left if I need to. Keep in mind, I started measuring from the left. If I had measured from the right and I used the tape measure upside down, then my extra foot would be on that side. So what it looks like right now is the edge of the window is pretty close to a rib, but not exactly on it. So I have to decide if I want to try to center all of that and shift all these numbers to the left or not, but I'll figure all that out off camera. I just wanted to give you guys these tips. There may be different types of construction for metal panels. The ones that I got are 3 feet wide plus 2 inches overlap, and the rib falls at the 9-inch mark, the beginning of the rib, and then 2 inches from there. Now moving on to some other miscellaneous tasks. Before I put up the metal trim and siding, I need to finish up sealing the zip sheathing. And what I mean by that is using the rest of the zip products to seal up the edges so the tape can address the seams between the boards, but the liquid flash, which you can see here, is sealing the zip panels to the concrete. And in a previous episode, you saw me experiment with painter's tape on the main entrance wall, and while that looked pretty good, the tape doesn't stick well to the concrete, and it was just kind of cumbersome to keep everything so clean. Most of this is not going to be visible anyway, and since this is just a shed, I decided to just do it as quick as possible just to knock this out. My hope was by the end of the day, this material would be dry enough to apply the tape over. And because I'm doing this shingle style, I need to work my way from the bottom up, where each subsequent piece of tape overlaps the previous flashing, which is either zip tape or zip liquid flash. And again, I'm using this from a sausage tube so I can buy the material more in bulk and have less waste once I've finished the project. As I move around to the next wall, you can see that I'm folding my zip tape over the corner. If you had a larger budget, you could buy all these different widths of tape for different tasks, I guess you could say. But since this is just a standard corner, I decided just to use the same tape, fold it over. It's not that hard to do. I don't need any special flashing tape or anything like that, just to do the regular seam sealing of the zip products. And again, always make sure to use the zip approved roller to make sure all of the adhesive is appropriately activated. That's the only way you're going to be able to exercise a potential warranty in the future, is if you've installed it to the manufacturer's specifications. I also use this again around all of the windows just to keep any water out.
So high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
sun's setting here. I just got my car packed up after dinner. That's all I really have time to do these days after dinner because I don't want to work in the dark. I can clean up inside after it gets dark. But right now I need to get all my tools packed, get everything in my car for the morning because I typically leave around 6 a.m. to head down to South Carolina. As you can see behind me, I finished up the liquid zip flashing and the zip tape. So now I can start putting on the trim that will accept the metal siding panels and the roofing panels. So if you want to see that kind of stuff, please subscribe and like this video. I'll see you next time on Kind Heart Homestead.